So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
This is the mystery of the Indian Lake Project. I'll be referring to this as the ILP from here on out to be politically correct. It was the summer of '97 when a gentleman was hiking deep within the territories of the Adirondack Mountains of New York. He was wandering way off the beaten path on an unknown trail when he suddenly stubbed his toe on something protruding out of the ground. He looks down and sees a steel box. Intrigued, he begins to dig it up. At the time, he had no idea that the contents of that box would reveal one of the darkest secrets the U.S. government has ever kept. Inside, he would find 21 photos, 3 rolls of film, and a bunch of classified documents. What those documents revealed terrified the gentleman that found them. He would take the box home, stow it away, and try to forget about it. But after his death in 2002, his nephew John would stumble over the contents. As he studied the pictures, he had no idea his life would change forever, too. So after John sees the contents of the box his uncle stumbled over in the woods, he began posting and documenting his findings in a blog. His first post would be about the story I told you in the previous video, along with a couple pictures of the actual box. And the first pictures he would share with everybody seemed authentic. He would post 3 pictures of 3 different children. Each picture would have a name next to them: Roger, Sam, and Sally, along with a designated number. He would conclude that these weren't the children's real names, but the names they were assigned, and that each number was out of 837. So there must have been 837 children being kept there. He would also post pictures of what's said to be a barracks, along with a picture of what seemed to be a doctor and a high-ranking military official with his face blacked out. Notice the child standing in the background, 3. John would quickly come to the conclusion that something sinister took place here. He would go on to post that they were doing human experiments, and the subjects used were young children. And as young as they were, they didn't volunteer, and there's no way they could have signed consent. Moreover, they were being held against their will, and he believed they were an extension of Project Artichoke. Project Artichoke was similar to that of MK Ultra. Project MK Ultra took place from the 50s all the way to the 70s, and it was the government attempting to achieve mind control. Using things like LSD, they wanted to see if they could get people to do their bidding unknowingly. But instead of adults, the ILP was attempting to manipulate children, and they would do this using frequencies. The videos would only show the scientists' hands. It wasn't long before weird things started happening to John. So after John posted the theory that they were experimenting on children, he would go on to say that in his next post, he would put up highly confidential documents that would essentially blow people's minds. But after he did this is what would happen to him. He states that him and his wife would receive up to 20 phone calls a day where nobody would be on the other line. And that while they were at work one day, his house would be broken into and searched from top to bottom. Luckily, due to the phone calls, he had moved the box and its contents outside and buried them in his yard, so they completely missed them. But after this scare, he decided that he was done and that he couldn't put his family at risk any longer. So for a few months, John's post would go silent until eventually he would post again, stating that he and his wife got a divorce. He was back in business. So after his wife and him get divorced, he actually moves up to New York State so he can investigate the grounds closer. When he goes to investigate the grounds for the first time, he finds a structure that looked like it could be the barracks. And after this, people start following him. A white van, and he even got followed by a chopper. At this point, his posts start getting weirder. He's starting to get a little crazy. But the next time he goes up there, he goes with a metal detector, and he finds a trap door. So he takes a flashlight and goes down there to investigate. He finds all kinds of stuff. A generator, shower rooms, even a room with cots in it that could house dozens of children. He draws a simple map of the structure, and this is what it looks like. He figured that all the experiments were going on down here. After this post, there would be a lull in John's post. He wouldn't post for quite a while. until he would post a picture of an old truck in the woods. This is where things get weird, and I find it suspect. The picture of the truck ended up being from iStock Photos. But I find this suspect. Why would he do that? Why would he devalue his entire post? I smell foul play. Here's why. Next part. So he posts the truck from iStock Photos, so everybody's in a rage. They said he's faking the whole thing. Then he posts a picture of a dead bird, saying the government put it there. He's kind of going insane, supposedly. But why would a dead bird mean anything? It's just nature. That's what people think. His final post would be, "Thanks, guys. It's been a trip. Thanks for being a part of it." And after that, John is never heard of again. So after doing a little digging, I found that back in the 50s and 60s, there used to be an orphanage near Indian Lake Project. What better place to get your subjects? No ties to parents, no relatives, nothing. Not only that, but shortly after John went MIA, 3 of his followers went to look for themselves. They were 3 grown-ass men. Well, they never came back. They disappeared that day and haven't been found since. So you gotta ask yourself, what did they find? What did they stumble on where they ended up disappearing for it? And where is John? End of the day, I smell foul play, and yeah, it's been debunked, blah, 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 they always are.